What's going on, car guys and car gals? It's Lou Ramirez, the car guy.
And it's Fred Lenart's subprime hero.
And we are brewing solutions right now with the one, the only
Owen Moon.
That's right, everybody. And it is Fixed Ops
Friday. Let's go, man. It's time to bring it. Owen, what's going on, brother?
Man, you guys must have had some coffee. I love it. I can see you guys.
Brewed cup ready to go, my friend.
There you go. Yeah, I got to admit, I had a pumpkin spice latte today. So, I was out and about and I had to stop and get one. So
it's that time of year for that pumpkin
time of year.
It is.
Get it while you can, right?
Get you some of that pumpkin. Heck
yes,
yeah.
Yes.
Love it.
Awesome. Well, talking about, some putting a little bit more flavor inside of our cups, car guys and car gals, we have a serious solutionary that I wonder if she does like some pumpkin spice lattes and coffees and all that other seasonal stuff. And we'll find out about that here in a minute. But you have to do us all a favor and tag a car guy.
Tag a car gal and share. Get it out there. Come on. We have a solutionary getting ready to come in. We're going to talk about something we haven't talked too much about yet, and that's the parts department. We're going to get into that, but we're going to see how you can market it better, how you could train, how you could hire. We have somebody that's a solutionary in all those categories and can really bring some fire and at least connect you with the right people. I'm pumped up. Owen, I know this is somebody we've been talking about having on the show for a while. I'm sure you're excited to have her on the show too.
Yeah, for sure. I kind of mentioned last week or a couple weeks ago when we were talking about it, it's good in this business to be known for something, right? It means that you've captured the attention of the space. And when you think parts, this is the first person that always comes to mind. So I'm super excited to, pick her brain a little bit, talk a little shop and, see where this goes. So.
Heck yeah. Well, let's go ahead and get this door wide open for this solutionary that is Brewing Solutions.
Oh, man.
Fixed Ops Friday.
We're excited to announce who it is. She is the sales and marketing manager at PartsEdge Inc. And man, check it out. Check her out on LinkedIn. Check her out everywhere. She's even got her own show. She's been interviewed by almost everybody. Show. I'm excited to talk about her. Let's go, Lou.
I'm excited. You're excited.
Let's go. Owen's excited.
All you car guys and car gals that are out there need to be excited. And you need to go ahead and share this around. But go ahead and get your coffee cup emoji, some of those hand claps. Blow it up right now because we have inside of the cafe the one,
the only Kaylee Felio. What's going on? Hey.
To the party, Kaylee.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Awesome.
To all of y'all.
I love it. You see her getting all professional with, if you guys watched her first show compared, like when we first interviewed her, look at her now, looking like a professional podcaster, ready to go to bring the fire. She even has her logo right there. I mean, you're killing it, girl. Let's see, I can backwards myself all the time too. It's hard to get it right, but no, we're excited to have you on here. You're rocking some of that solutionary gear. Tell people how you got that shirt.
Oh, I got it at Digital Dealer and I turned it into a mom crop. That's what I call when I cut the shirt.
Oh, love it. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, we're excited about that and we appreciate you repping. You even put our coffee on post. You even did our Keep Growing shirt, the gray one. And I appreciate you doing that also. You're a rock star and we appreciate that. So welcome. Tell everybody a little bit more about you, like what your background is.
So I don't know. Should I tell the whole story? Go.
It's your stage right now. We have time. We got an hour. Okay. Let's go.
I do have an hour. Okay. So I've been working with PartsEdge for about 10 years altogether. I left for a little bit of period of time, but altogether 10 years. And the founders of PartsEdge were my regular customers at the Subway restaurant I was managing. So that's how I got into the car business. They asked me if I was looking for a job, and I clearly wasn't because I had one and I really loved what I did. But I was also in a point where I was like, do I continue with college? Do I go the career path? I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do. I knew college wasn't really what I wanted. I've never been that type of person. I just liked working a lot. I worked a lot in college. That's why I was a manager at Subway. And so I'm sorry, what?
I was just saying, right. Keep going, my friend.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's how I started. And I did operations and supported our customers. I got to learn the ins and outs of what we do for our parts managers. And then I left for about a year and a half and I got my real estate license. Because when I started working for them, I was probably about 20 or maybe 19 even. And I was in that growth stage of like, what do I really want to do? And I wanted to explore things. And what I found was I really have a love and passion for sales and marketing. And that's why I went into real estate, because that wasn't available with PartsEdge. And it became available. And I was like at this point where real estate wasn't what I thought it was. I was discovering that I didn't really like the consumer sales. I was maybe more fit for business to business. So then I went and worked back for PartsEdge and developed the sales process. And when I came back, I was like, we have to do marketing too, because they didn't have any marketing. So yeah.
Well,
that's awesome.
Well, we're so glad that you're here. Owen, tell us a little bit more about why this solutionary is brewing with us on Fixed Ops Fridays. There's so much of the conversation that needs to integrate the parts department. Hello, everybody. And what's going on over there at Valley High? I think that's our friend, Mr.
You already know.
Ortega.
That's Mr. Ortega.
Blue hat. I love it. Yeah, I'll get you one, buddy.
Blue hat. I'm always jealous because I'm rocking mine right now and I'm looking pretty fly. I'm just saying. But, you know, I had to go. I went to his booth and just took it. I was like, pew, pew, and I left. Such a nice hat.
Yeah, of course, Brian, I'll get you one. Just shoot me your address. But yeah, no, we've been talking about a lot of different topics here, and you know, one of the topics that we don't talk nearly enough, especially in this industry, is the parts side. Mainly because, and I'll say this kind of loosely, is that it's kind of it kind of comes, you know, sort of hand in hand with business, right? Especially on the service side. If you know, there's two different sides to parts. You've got wholesale, and then you've also got retail. And, you know, you can't do a lot of the repairs. Well, let's be honest, you can't do any of the repairs on vehicles if you don't have parts, right? So a lot of times the parts department just is kind of that thing in the back. Like you want to say, like in, you know, maybe 5 years ago, the service department was sort of just in the back of the house. Well, the parts department's in the way back of the house, right? They're the ones that are, you know, in the trenches, in the dungeon, you know, with all their little SKUs and everything. And so, you know, but if they don't have those, you're not doing any business. So, you know, I thought it'd be fun to bring Kaylee on and, you know, just maybe just shed a little more light on this side of the business, you know, see where it's going. You know, if we have noticed some changes in how dealerships are, you know, kind of utilizing their parts department, or what you're seeing, you know, from your side, because, you know, obviously fixed operations has so many different profit centers. And parts is a big one. I know that a lot of dealerships, that's where they make a lot of their money, is in the parts side. So anything we can do to kind of pass that, you know, pay it forward to people, I think would be a good thing. So Kaylee, welcome. And yeah, we'd love to pick your brain and just, you know, kind of see where it goes from here. So
I'm excited. You know, I'm going to throw a couple more comments up here because people are saying hi. We got John Fairchild. He's over here talking about love it. Sup, Owen Moon. I'm excited. You know, he's pumped up about the show. And John Fairchild's, man, an authority right now in fixed ops.
Great human.
Yeah, great guy. And a great guitar player. Just so if you guys don't know, that guy can jam a guitar. Speaking of that, I got one I brought over here. I'm not going to play it. I'm embarrassed compared to probably him.
Unless you all tell him to play.
Right.
We need at least 10 comments saying for Fred to play the guitar.
Oh, my God.
He might pick up that.
Maybe. That's a good okay. If we get 10 comments saying Fred play guitar, 10 or more, I'll do it. But the
put the guitar emoji.
Suppo and Moon. Then we also have a LinkedIn user. I went and checked on that. That is Lacey Pace. Thank you so much for coming in here and saying, let's go crew. What's going on, Lacey? How you doing? It was so good to see you out there in Vegas. I'm excited. That was John Fairchild, of course. We talked about those. And then those hats are legit. That's Lacey also. So let's go. Let's keep this thing moving. Let's grooving with this. But these hats are legit. Speaking of that, Kaylee, did you get you a hat while you were in Vegas?
I did. I'm not on day 2 hair, so I didn't wear it. I had like hair.
Yeah, the hair.
Yeah, day 1 hair going on.
I understand. Keep it. I know because my hair gets super flat when I rock hats. I wear them every day, so that's why you never see my hair down. But no, let's get to that. Let's talk about parts. You know, as we get into that department, there's so many different facets of it. You know, and there's so many different ways that people can really utilize it. Some people do horrible. Some do great, but most people do okay, right? So in your experience and what you're doing right now, what do you see is one of the biggest issues right now in the parts department?
Well, the biggest issue is dealing with back orders and all the recalls. I think parts people are having a really hard time with where it was just a page. Now it's pages and pages of back orders. So staying on top, being more communicative to your service team that, hey, we don't have the parts and it's not the parts person's fault kind of thing. So I'd say that's the biggest issue. And there's not really a solution for that, right? It's just kind of part of what we have to deal with. But that's probably one of the biggest issues. And I'd say just training and supporting the parts managers. Because as what we have found, because we've grown so much in the last couple of years, and I think it's because a couple of years ago we didn't have COVID, and now we're recovering from all of that, and we have less people. So whereas parts managers were just parts managers, now they're counter people, they're taking out the trash, they're doing so many different things that they don't have as much time to focus on the inventory control aspect of their job. And I think that's what some of the issues can happen, is because they're pulled in so many different directions.
Exactly. You know, and the thing is they're just as important as any salesperson, any manager that's in the place. They are important of a big role. And it's a very profitable place if you do it right. If you market it right, use some online service marketing, right? And do it the right way with that. You can actually online parts marketing. Hey,
there you go. Whoa, Fred.
Hold on a second. No one steal that market. I'm putting that trademark right now. Anyway, but seriously, why not? You know, why shouldn't we? And then those people can grow in their own spot, and they don't feel like that they're in the parts department stuck in this little silo in the back corner where no one goes and checks out and everybody hates, right? If we can get them involved more and let them feel like they're growing back there, much like the way that you've been able to do in the position you're in now. You've done a great job with it. You found your own motivation, and it's hard to do that sometimes when you are siloed. But in your experience sitting in a parts department, how hard is it to get people to come on board of helping you grow and do those types of, I guess, business type of growth instead of being just stuck back there just in one position?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's that hard to get people to come and, are you saying like to come work with PartsEdge, or to like come into the business and work in the parts department?
You know, let's say that because, you know, I know that in your family, you got another person that's in the parts department, right? Right. And so it's in the blood, it's in that house, right? So in that department, in a lot of places, they don't allow people to market themselves as much, or market the department really, right? So what do you see the challenges of being a parts manager, or even just working in the parts department to help you get more business growth inside yourself, to where you feel like you're able to develop and maybe, you know, come up with your own ideas and be able to share what's going on back there?
I think the biggest thing I've seen in the shift is having dealers more involved in the discussion, because I feel like historically they've always left the parts department to just kind of do their thing, and they always seem to be profitable, and they just kind of, you know, but I think when you have upper management, or you have someone there with you supporting you and bouncing ideas off, or hey boss, I want to do this, or you guys are collectively talking about what's going on with the inventory, that's how you improve. When you don't talk about it and you just kind of let it sit there and do what you've always done, you're always just going to continue to have the same results. I think I don't really know where I was going with that. You
hit it on a perfect note. You know, it's communication, and boom, you hit. That's exactly what I was trying to pull out. It's not being communicated, and even if it was, it's getting rejected the moment that it gets talked about, because it's just kind of like, listen, we don't need to. It's just a parts department, right? When really it should be, man, my parts department should be rocking, because that's a big part of my bottom line.
The parts department is, I mean, who inside of the parts department is it that's responsible for all those parts? Who is it? It's the parts manager. Yeah. How many millions of dollars worth of product are they responsible for? Way more than any salesperson, right? Salesperson isn't responsible really for much more than make sure that your area is clean, make sure that your computer is working. Sometimes they're providing their own computer, right? But in a lot of cases, I mean, that parts manager is responsible for so much of hard cash, right? Of the dealers. Those are assets. And we're seeing so much about the awareness of these products that seem to have been easier to get. COVID then constrained our inventory and what we had access to, but the mission has to go on. And without parts delivering, coming through, having what it is that we need, everybody's kind of at a standstill. A car sits there in the parking lot, right? We don't have what it is that we need. But Kaylee, there's also a fusion with what Fixed Ops Digital can do with all of the technology, right? If somebody grabs a hold of that position, gets serious about it, markets themselves out there, the e-commerce of parts is like never before. How many dealers do you see jumping on with actually leveraging what they have access to that people across the nation would actually purchase? I mean, we can move parts way quicker than we can move a car, right? Getting all of that moving, and with the advantage that Fixed Ops Digital can do in marketing, even that, we can go to the next level and take a dealership on a whole other revenue stream if we can get the parts manager not taking out the trash, but focusing on building that department. You know what I'm saying? But what have you
Exactly.
seen as far as e-commerce inside of dealers?
So with e-commerce, it's a great opportunity to put your dealership out there and do online sales. But what I always tell dealerships is you have to treat it as a separate department. It's a whole, just like wholesale. It's a whole separate, you have a team you're gonna set responsibilities for, you have to track it like a separate business. So it's great to do, but also make sure you have your existing processes in place to support what your new venture of what you're gonna do. So.
Well, I think it comes down to strategy too. Like, you know, I think I always look at things from a marketing lens, but just, you guys talked about a little bit, you know, getting them involved, right? Making them part of the process, making part of the success. I'll give you a couple examples. We had a dealer reach out to us this week that was starting to get a bunch of phone calls for a recall that they didn't have parts that were going to be in for like 2 months. So they were like, where is this coming from? Well, we diagnosed it and we pushed it all the way back to the OEM, right? So you got the OEM that has pushed out a recall message, and the parts manager's like, I don't have these parts, I can't do these recalls. And now you've even, you know, upset a customer that maybe you shouldn't have even have reached out to. So you can't necessarily always control what the OEM's doing, but this is where you could control what's happening inside your store. I was like, say, you know, if you didn't have any Honda Accords on your lot, are you going to put any advertising out for Honda Accords? Probably not, right? Because you can't sell one anyways. So same thing here, you know, hey, what are we heavy on in parts that we can actually move, and then maybe let's put some promotion out for that. And you know, that might be a way to sort of bridge the team, right? Bridge that service team with the parts team. And we're going, hey, we have an initiative now to get this many different customers in for this particular service, because we've got a lot of parts back here that are aging that we've got to get rid of. So, you know, everything's coming down to sort of the blocking and tackling inside of what you're doing. And this is no different in my opinion. And I just don't think that we've been ready for it. So I think it's something that's consistently evolving, and you know, we're just sort of scratching the surface in my opinion.
And making the connection between those departments is crucial, because if you already have the language between you all, it's very easy to say, hey, listen, the OEM just did this. This is our plan for it, so that we don't say a whole bunch of silly, or we don't know what you're talking about, or no, we don't have your part, and we can go ahead and have a clear word track and expect, yes, that is actually what is going on. There is a recall on yours because of the back order and because of the response.
We're taking names today and numbers, exactly. And when that comes in, we're going to be, you know, yeah, exactly. I mean, I think that's a full strategy though, and a full plan, not just, you know, a bunch of people getting calls and going, I have no idea what you're talking about. Right. And we can't do that anyways. Because
what do mechanics do? This is, hey, see, they don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? And then everybody's, you know, talking about how silly we all look, but to the customer, they really are. I didn't get this letter from anybody but your brand, and I'm trying to come to your store, and you're telling me I'm the one that doesn't know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? And that's why it is so important that we do fuse that language together, so we know what's going on. Hey, this is what we're going to expect. This is how we deal with it. And this is how we keep our customers consistently feeling valued and communicated with. That communication is key between all departments, especially when it gets delivered to them. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Love what we're brewing over here. So Kaylee, you're out at these events, and you're not just filling up swag bags, right? You're not just making sure to put something inside of the bag for you to take home, but you're literally going to fill up your bag, fill up your mind, fill up your inspiration with stuff to come home and implement. How important is it that the stuff that you do pick up, that you get, that you act on quickly when you start to continue to move your business forward? And what advice would you give to anybody that's trying to build like you are when they go to these events and fill up a swag bag and their mental game?
Oh, I think, you know, the events can be kind of overwhelming, right? There's just so much going on. There's a lot of vendors. But what's been really cool is when you become more active on LinkedIn and you engage on people's posts, you start to get to know each other. And then when you go to these conferences, you see them and you're like, oh, I kind of know you because we've engaged on LinkedIn or whatnot. But I think the biggest thing is making a list and picking the top 3 and then like keep going down the list, because if you try to do everything at once, it's just going to be overwhelming. You're not going to do it all. So I think like picking the top 3 is probably the biggest thing that I do.
Great advice.
Yeah, and then I use Asana to organize my thoughts because I have a lot of reminders. So
that's awesome.
Absolutely love that.
Oh, and what about you when you're at these events? Because we know that you've switched it up a couple ways, right? You guys will be out there backpacking it, you know what I mean, just blending in with the crew, and then other times you'll have your booth, you'll get out there. What do you like what do you like on the differences between the two?
Well, yeah, you're right, and they're different strategies, right? When you're there, like Tampa, for example, I was just there, I spoke and was just kind of there to take on, take it all in and meet some people. So I set up some individual meetings, kind of use that time to reconnect with clients, things like that. When you're doing a booth, it's a lot different because they're coming to you, right? Dealers are coming to you, potential partners are coming to you. So you have to really make sure you maximize your time. We're not the kind of company that gets a booth and says, okay, we're spending X amount of dollars on a booth. We need this many appointments. We need this many sales to ROI it. We've never been that company and we never will be, because I don't believe that your business is done at the booth. Your business is done after the booth. And once you get back and you've made those connections, what the booth really does for us is gives us the visibility. So people can just come find us. We don't have to try to search them down. And obviously if I get the opportunity to speak as well, that really does help, because when they're at my session and then they're able to just come over and talk to our team and kind of get to know a little bit about us, it does wonders. But we've been able to make it work both ways, and we also kind of pick and choose our battles, right? Or pick and choose our conferences. We're a unique situation where, and Kaylee, I'm sure you'll attest to this, there wasn't a lot of fix ops booths. There were some fix ops people running around, but still not very many. But you have to kind of look at that strategy a little bit different than if you're going to like a fix ops roundtable, which we've done mostly virtual these days. But for a while those were in person. Different localized service events, things like that. So they're just a little different audience, and you got to kind of strategize before you going into it. We always have a plan. It usually turns out better than we've ever thought, and this was no difference. I mean, we've signed so much business this week, and it's been awesome. I told you guys before we jumped on here, I feel like it's been a month since Digital Dealer, and for the good. Like I said, we've been so busy that with all the new business we brought on, that once you bring on a customer, and then that's when the fun starts. So we're excited for the rest of this year, and then moving into next year. What's really great is NADA is right around the corner. It's end of January. You don't have to wait till March to do it again. So 100%, I would definitely recommend that. One thing I do miss the most about conferences, especially Digital Dealer, now that we're doing booths all the time, is the ability to go to different sessions.
Yeah.
I'm a heavy student. I love to learn from the best, the George Nennies, the Dan Moores. These are all guys that, I respect and I have great relationships with, but I can't find that time to get away from the booth to go watch their sessions. So the good thing is, I think starting next week, some of the sessions that were taped are actually going to be available. So
yep, they are. I'm excited about watching those too.
Yeah, but I did that a lot before we were doing the booth scene. I was just knee deep in the sessions trying to learn, and like Kaylee said, you got to pick and choose your ones, because sometimes there's 5 or 6 good ones on the same time frame, and you're like, I can't get with all of them. So I try to pick the ones that I feel like are gonna be the most aligned with my business. So
it's funny. Lou says, tell us about it, because our session was like one of the hottest hours, and everybody was like, womp, womp.
Oh yeah,
we brought the energy to ours, and actually there was plenty of solutions. We just didn't have the biggest group, but I'll tell you, it was there. But the other sessions, wish I was there. I mean, because there were some great ones. I was like, man, if I was there, Brad and Courtney, they had theirs. I wish I could have been to that one. There were so many other ones during our hour or 2 hours that we had. Matter of fact, both our hours were covered with great things. It was the last day too. So, but great time. I agree with what both of you all said. Pick something out. It's great to be able to go as a booth sometimes, because if you're looking to build and rebuild relationships or find new clients, it's a great spot to be, because people know who you are. It brings validity to you. It lets people know, hey, these guys are real. But going in there and being able to just be free and sit down in the sessions and learn. And I agree with Kaylee, pick your top 3 first and then work your way down from there, because at least you won't be disappointed, because you'll get your 3 in, right? So then if you get those in, then everything else is just extra. So extra is great, but as long as you get your 3, you're good. Organize those, and they do it. I could tell you, I was really excited about Digital Dealer. This one in Las Vegas was way better. No offense, I mean this in the nicest way. It was way better than I thought it was going to be. It was way more people. It was great sessions. The booths were booming. The booths were, I mean, it was great. There was a lot of dealers there. There was a lot of first timers there. It was amazing. And I really
our bump box was rocking in our booth.
Yeah, it was, man. I was jealous. I want one of those, right? And look, because it's so cool, so nostalgic, very 80s, right? So it was so cool what you did there at your booth, and so many others did some amazing things. So kudos. And what I do love about going to these events is you can tell which companies are growing because you see their booths get bigger. And then next thing you know, you're like, man, I see that as soon as I walk in. Well, they had a good year, right? So it's impressive to see things like that happen. But but most of the time it's for good companies, and that's why it's exciting to see that happen. People that we're already aligned with, or people like that. So it is fun, man. I'm excited. I can't wait for the next one. But like you said, NADA is coming up soon. Tons more education. But between now and then, there's a lot of little things. Used Car Week, Mopar. I can keep going. There's a few things we can all go to. I suggest you guys all. Or Kaylee, you going to any of those?
I'm not. No.
Okay, I know. Owen, you're going. You're definitely going to Mopar, right?
Yeah, we got Mopar, and then I've got a bunch of little things that I'm going to be doing. So
Sure.
I am not sure yet. I was going to hear today, but I may be on the road for like the rest of the year. So we're hoping not. I really don't like to over the holidays. But yeah, up until mid-December anyways, and then I'm pretty much grounded for a few weeks. So yeah. So
hey. Busy, but busy means good, right?
Get out there.
That's a good thing. And I'm excited. We're going to be at the Buy Here, Pay Here Super Forum that's coming up in November 9th through the 11th, folks. We'll be in Austin. Make sure you guys get down there. There's like 2 more days left or a day left to get the $150 off. If you need that, let me know. I'll get you guys that code. But, just email me, fred@carguycoffee.com. But
Lou at carguycoffee.
That's right. But we'll get you hooked up. And, we do have one more free pass we'll be giving out here in the next week or so. So be listening and tuning into our show because those passes are worth about $600, my friends. So get on it. So anyway, that being said, man, I'm pumped up about that. Yes, great education, great things. What do you see the most, Kaylee, when you go these things that are raising up the parts department, that whole thing? You see people out there doing things for that right now at all?
No, not really.
So
they're mostly talking about service. I'm sorry, what?
We need to change that. We
Well,
really change it. Hey, you're the one. So I'm excited to have you because you are that voice. I'm telling you.
One thing I would say though is that parts, like I said, it's kind of that under the
right. It's
covers,
under the service, but it's
under the hood because think about this way. Here's how we do parts, and this is how we really give a spotlight on parts. Part of our mission with our stores is to do like a why service with us message, right? For years, we did the why buy with us message. That was sort of our, as marketers, that's the first thing you did is you walked in and said, okay, what sets you apart? Give me your unique selling propositions, right? Well, in service, it's very simple. You have certified technicians, you have the equipment, you have OEM parts, OEM fluids. Well, there you go. You've just highlighted the parts, right? The fact that you guys have the dealerships have OEM parts. But the other thing that we've done to sort of help the parts department, sort of like I said, indirectly, is focusing on late ownership services. After warranty's up, and all of a sudden you've got transmissions and brakes, and a lot of these things that happen later in the ownership. The average vehicle on the lot right now, or on the road right now, is 12 years, right? That just warrants for more parts business, and so we're doing it indirectly. I think consumers, though, they don't want to talk about parts. Consumers don't want to be like, oh, hey, these are the 6 parts that you need to do that particular service. But I think if you can focus on more of those, we know that indirectly it's going to affect the parts department. But I guess, Kaylee, my question to you would be, are there other things that you could see dealerships doing to highlight their parts department to customers? And really, where is the disconnect? Maybe part of that would be the disconnect on, what customers actually want to know about parts, or they just want to know that they're going to get their car fixed, and they figure that that's part of the process.
I think that they don't. It's hard to say. It depends on the type of consumer or customer, because some of them are like do-it-yourselfers and they know what parts they need. But then there's like other people that they don't really know what parts they need. they know maybe the job or the thing that they might need fixed, or so I guess what parts departments can do is just educating the customer with okay, this is the job that we're marketing for, but these are the parts that come with it, and they're OEM parts. They're they're what you need to fix the job. We don't actually deal with that stuff as much. We're more like we're so with the inventory side or the inventory control side. We don't deal with as much as the marketing side of the parts department. So.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think that again, the do-it-yourselfers are probably not going to the dealership anyway, so they're just going to their parts store and I need this, I need that.
Get in the zone.
Yeah, exactly. But the ones that are coming to the dealership to get the service done, again, that's kind of implied, right, that they're doing it. So, but I think where the real value can be is what we talked about a little earlier, where if we know we have a surplus of certain parts, or we have certain parts that are aging and we need to get rid of them, coming up with a strategy to get rid of those. I know that, wholesaling is a pretty big, obviously a big part of business. Just being aware of your parts inventory, which obviously PartsEdge does a great job of helping with that, can mean the difference between losing money and making money in that department,
So true.
Yeah, definitely. Because, it's great to try to sell your obsolescence and try to sell it online or do all those avenues but I always want to preface to be careful how much time you're focusing on that, because remember, those are obsolete parts. They're not really going to make you that much money. And I think what PartsEdge does is we show the parts manager those categories that what we call is the domino effect of obsolescence. So making sure you're tracking that effectively, so you don't have this wasted inventory and you have more of the right parts. So that's like the biggest thing, I think, with obsolescence and dealing with all of that. But there's one thing we didn't actually talk about with accessories. I think there's a huge opportunity with accessories, and I don't know how we solve that problem, but I think that there's definitely a missing gap, because what's the first thing you want to do after you buy a car? You want to accessorize it. Why aren't the dealerships showing them all these great accessories that could be, especially if you buy a truck? The first thing we bought for our truck were wheels and tires. We did not buy them from the dealership, because we actually asked to buy them from the dealership and they said they couldn't get it for us. And my husband's a parts manager. He's like, no, they can get it. So it's I
had a dealer one time tell me that he has had customers come back a month or 2 weeks after they buy their truck and show them all these great things that they put on their truck: a tonneau cover, tinted windows, grill guard, all that stuff. And this guy's excited, thinking that they were going to love that. Oh man! And all he thought was, that's money that I could have had if I would have just talked to him about it. So you're right. I think that accessories is a big thing. Nice thing about our software is that we are able to power accessory pages. We're able to power tire pages, things like that, and we're doing that for our stores. We haven't quite got to the e-commerce side of things. And because really the e-commerce is a tough animal, because you've got both your OEM accessories and then you've got your off-brand accessories. So the real goal here is to try to bring it all together under one e-commerce type of scenario. But I think you're right. I mean, look, if dealerships really have a vision, they would have an accessories person, and just like that person gets talked to at F&I, the next thing they do is before they even get to F&I, they talk to the accessories person. Because when this was years ago, I bought a brand new GMC Sierra and I changed out the grill guard. I got a tonneau cover. I got running boards. I mean, I had all these different accessories, and they just financed it right into the vehicle. Yeah. So why not start there and then get to F&I and say, hey, by the way, F&I, we have all these add-ons that we're doing. A lot of these trucks are now coming with these add-ons, but let's be honest, it's not nearly as advanced as it should be when it comes to that. So
absolutely. I've seen very few stores, and I've seen some that done that, and they've even, I remember when I first started, when, stereos and putting in the DVD players with the screens was a big deal. And you would, every time it was always, we'd call my local place and say, hey, Sparky's, I need you to do this or whatever. Right. But what we figured out, and what one of my service managers did was said, we could do this in-house, and we did. So we displayed it out front. We always showed that, and we walked them over and show them during delivery, hey, these are things that if you want to add to your vehicle, and if we could finance it, we would, right? If we could put it into the loan, we would make that happen for them, and they can have that part of the delivery on the WIO. They come back for an appointment. We'd set it up before they left, introduce them to our service department. Man, that was a money bank. It was so much. We were putting like almost every car had a new stereo put in it, all this stuff. And people a lot of times paid out of their pocket for it because they're like, okay, cool. It's going to happen right now. And I could even wait to take delivery until it's all done. And I'm going to take it exactly the way I've always wanted a car. Yeah, be cool. I want rims. I want my tint. I also want a spoiler now. Right. And they're going to do that because they're excited. They don't realize because we don't market it, nor do we want to market it in a lot of places. Like you said, Kaylee, oh, we can't do that here. It's because they just don't want to do that. That's the difference. They don't want to.
They don't want, well, they don't want to because there's no incentive to do it. Like we should create plans to I don't know, connect the salespeople and the parts people. Let's incentivize, create this marketing plan to get these accessories. Because I think what a lot of people don't realize is the manufacturer sends the parts manager automatically accessories depending on the manufacturer. They'll just ship them like a new car accessory, you know, a bunch of parts that they're like, they make you buy. And then the parts manager is like, well, what do I do with this? You know, it's like creating a plan to sell those with your people. And, you know, we all know salespeople and parts people don't really get along.
But somebody that does have some influence on accessories is the salesperson. We had a salesperson that was absolutely killing it, doing an incredible job. Now he's transferred. He's in real estate now. But we created a site for him and just put in the top 10 things that were accessorized that customers went to get. We created a little e-commerce page for him, got everything set up. He started to make a little bit of money selling some floor mats, some chargers for the cars, right? A couple little different things that were customized for the customer for their car. Just the 10 things that they would normally go in with. What would you say are the top 5 things that usually actually get purchased? Because anybody can create a website. If you want to know how, call us at Certified Solutionaries. We'll help you out. But you can create your own accessories page to directly connect to your own customers. Salespeople, you can do this on your own. You can give them those access, but the dealership can create that and immediately say, hey, listen, if you did leave here, you didn't get those other parts, here's our special link, here's our special discounts that you get on the accessories.
And they're making a few $100s a month if they do that, right? And that's pays for a lot of extra stuff, you know. And it is. I love this. What Coralie says is magic happens when sales, service, and parts all get along. It's when we all communicate and we quit separating and saying, oh, my department. No, our departments. We are one. We're a dealership. So anyway, tell the 5. What do you think are the 5 things that people really want to have? And this way that maybe some of our dealers out there that want to do this or salespeople who want to do that can actually start with these 5 and it'll actually start giving you profit today.
Are you asking me?
Oh, yeah. What do you say?
The expert. We're asking the expert, Kaylee.
You say sells the most whenever some dealer actually does that.
Floor mats for sure. I think.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, floor mats. And if you buy a truck or something, I would say wheels and tires is probably the number 1. What else is there? I don't know. The sunshade thing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think like actually what I bought for my car.
Think about that. That's the way to think about it.
What are you gonna buy?
A better cup holder? No.
Cell phone holders was one that was in there.
Cell phone holders. Yeah.
Absolutely. You know,
charging port.
You know, and it's those things are going to be, you know, and there's so many things, but folks, it's the stuff that you would buy yourself. Like, just like she said, what do you think when you buy a car? What's the first thing that you need? You need a car charger. We all do. Right. And a lot of times it's just the one that we have, but then we have to take the one that we have out from our house, put it in here. Right. So why not have that available for them right then? So they can just say, just like anywhere else, do you want to buy this little extra? Click here, click here. If you look on Amazon and you buy something that's like that, and then there's things, it'll say, people normally buy with these, and you can click on those, right? It's no different. That should be what we do as salespeople. That's an opportunity for us to put a couple more dollars in our pocket. But like Kaylee said, we need to incentivize them or show them how to incentivize themselves on that.
Well, and what about preloading? What about preloading vehicles with it? I know that in some places you can't. Like, they don't actually allow you to do that. But I remember the first time that happened, we were working with a group out on in Hawaii, and they had these. It was years ago, but it was these Sportages that Sportages. It was the first time the Sportage came out. They were putting 20-inch rims on these Sportages and putting them on the points outside their dealership. And these guys were walking in like, man, I want that, because no one was doing 20-inch rims, and it changed the whole look of these Kias, and and it was built into the price, and then they'd say, well, that's with all this, but we can take all that off. But how many people, after they see a vehicle and they've already bought it in their head and they've already taken that trip around to see all their buddies with it, are going to go, oh yeah, please put those base tires back on, or take the tonneau cover off, or
it's true. We did it to a Kia van, a Sedona, right? When years ago, I'm talking like mid 2000s, and we had a silver one, and we said, you know what? Because we had these extra rims, like throw it on that. We put on the addendum sticker. Hey, comes with this, and yes, of course, we could replace it with the manufacturer, the OEM's wheels, but. Man, even that van sold quicker because we put wheels on it, right? And the people, they were like, "Yeah, I'll buy it with the rims. It's cool." And it was so funny. I loved it though. 20-inch wheels on a freaking Kia Sedona.
Spinners on a Sedona.
Oh, we've had spinners on cars. We did it all, and he's so right. It's just that I think that when people forget that you can do stuff like that, or they just get used to just doing it one way and they don't want to add extra. What do you think makes the difference to the customer? We had Coralie said again, she said, I wish I was given the option to get my windows tinted every time I bought a car. Yeah. Right? I know. We did that. We always gave that option. We're like, hey,
and it's at our cost. When it closes.
I'm that customer though that always makes them throw it in.
You know what? We'll throw 10 in. And they're like, okay, we'll do it now. Yeah. I swear it's happened.
That's all that we need to do.
I swear. I'm that customer. I'm like, hey, I want free tint.
Right. So, and it works, and it does work. And she's so right, and those options need to be given. And we, as salespeople, need to team up with our parts departments, with our service departments, like we talk about all the time, and have better communication flow, but work our pay plans together. It shouldn't be such separate. That's why we're going to fight each other, because I'm not getting paid to do that. That's exactly what people say. We're natural. We're humans. Not all of us are Owen Moons and Kaylees, right? Some of us are people who just, only do what we're supposed to do. But if we're incentivized, now it's something we're supposed to do. So we need to learn to do that. And if we do that, owners, dealers, GMs, all you out there, all you service managers, if you start to team up and you make that happen and you find a way to incentivize both sides of the home, I promise you that house will run together. Everybody will be shaking hands, high-fiving. Hey, man, I got somebody for you. Hey, man, I got somebody for you, right? So it's important to do that. Get you a list of 5 things that you think that people want. Start promoting those things. Put them on people's desk. Even just show it. Like, even if it's just, we can get simple. We can go ancient. Just put it on a piece of paper, print it out. Right?
What?
Or you can get digital, and you can reach out to Owen Moon, and they can show you how to market that online. Right. They can show you how you can just click a button and your customer can go straight to it before they take delivery of the car. It's that easy. And then if you need some inventory or some inventory management on that, Kaylee can help you out over at PartsEdge. She's going to make sure that you crush it, and she's going to be able to make sure that you're taken care of, because that's what's important out there. Because knowing what you have, and I love that you guys do that, and you guys do it masterfully, because knowing what you have is the best way to be able to tell what to sell. Because if stuff is moving fast and you know that, hey, we need a lot of this, and we don't need to really promote that, but this isn't moving as much, let's promote that some more, right? Let's go up to the sales department and say, hey, if you can get your customers to da-da-da-da, we'll make sure that you guys get this. Right? It could be as simple as at the end of the month, if we get this many done, we're going to have a huge barbecue for the whole dealership. That works. I'm telling you, it doesn't even have to be money. It's just sometimes it's that. As simple as let's have a barbecue. Let's take the whole team out.
That's better than money, right? I mean, that's camaraderie. That's
that's my favorite. Yeah, that's like the thing I love. If someone told me, if we do this, we're having steak dinners, we're going to barbecue them all out front. I'm like, we're crushing. We're selling 100 cars right now. Let's go. Right? I totally would, because that's what we're about. And it's fun, like you said, the camaraderie, the getting together, but most importantly, putting a goal out there and then going together as a team to do it, man. And it's powerful. But when you don't talk about it, nothing happens. So we got to talk about that kind of stuff. That's why this show is important for all you all watching this. Share this. If you know somebody out there that's having a parts department that is failing, this is a great show for you guys to get inspired. I'm telling you, share this out to people. Let them know. Let's go to Chuck E. Cheese.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, we definitely are glad that we got together, and we are so glad that we have Kaylee in here, because car guys and car gals and all of you that worry about the physical inventory of the whole car put together, you know the constraint that's been on the pieces of the car that need to be found. And having an inventory specialist, having such a parts hero inside of the cafe with us has been exciting. On Fixed Ops Friday, it's awesome. But because you are a hope bearer, you are a Hope dealer, Kaylee. Tell us and give us some great news about what the outlook looks like inside of parts inventory coming for the future for those that need a little bit of good news in their cup.
Well, the good news is we still have parts, right? There's thousands of parts. Dealerships have $1 million inventory. So, the good news is just, working with your team and being proactive with how, because I think what happens is we get overwhelmed, right? Like with everything that we want to accomplish, and adopting resources and tools to help you get there, I think is the exciting thing that's happening, and what I'm seeing in the growth in the last couple of years of dealers getting more involved in their parts departments. Parts managers that have been doing it for a long time are like, where has this been? Because they work their butts off trying to get it all to happen. So that's what's exciting, is just
awesome.
All the growth.
Yeah, technology is catching up finally. People are embracing it more and more and more, right? And they're starting to see that, whoa, this actually can save me a lot of money, but most importantly, a ton of time. And that's the biggest thing that I think all of us offers, opportunity to save a ton of time for not just the dealerships, but for your customers.
An headache,
reputation. Makes it so much. The worst thing in the world is to tell your mechanic that, hey, we don't got the part, and it's actually sitting back there. Right? And then you find
how long has this been here?
Oops. Right. That's the worst. Or telling them, let alone worse, oh, we have the part, I'll bring it right out to you. And they tell the customer that, and then you have to tell them, oh, never mind, we did not have the part. And then you have to tell the customer too. That's bad. The customer's like, it's bull crap.
It's funny you say that, because I was telling Kaylee about this earlier this week when we were talking, and I got a little, sort of a doorway into parts when I was in college. I was working for a company, and my job, I got hired one summer, just, summer job, to help organize this entire parts warehouse. And it was amazing because everything's, I didn't know anything about SKUs. I didn't know anything about any of this stuff. Right. So I'm learning on the go, but it was funny not funny. It was depressing, really, how things were in such different places that we had to try to bring it all together. And they were like, and there would be times where like, oh, I thought we were out of those. And like, no, you got like a whole box of them, but they're in the wrong spot, And so it's definitely an important piece of your business is to know what you got, right? Inventory control is everything with a lot of different businesses, and automotive is no different. So what Kaylee and PartsEdge is doing is well needed. That's why they have so many customers, but that's why they're really a company that you don't really hear about a lot, because they're not the customer facing type of company. They're the dealership inventory control type company,
a true dealer partner.
Yeah, and I'm sure dealers are like, what do you mean you guys don't know about PartsEdge? I've used these guys for years, and they're my saviors. But they're just not the company that's necessarily customer facing, so you just don't hear about them a lot. But Kaylee's definitely bringing that to the market and let everybody know that they are there, and that if you need that, reach out to her, because I think you would find that there'd be a lot of value in what they offer.
That's big when you're hearing that from somebody like Owen, man. That's somebody who knows what he's talking about for sure. I think you guys all agree with us on that. That's why I love hanging out with that guy. But Lou, one thing I could say is like what you talked about, getting that inventory to the way it's supposed to be to the T. In the military, Lou was in charge of a parts department, right? And literally for everything. So he was in charge of all that in the way that they do it. And I'm sure you probably know a little bit about how that goes. It's no joke. It's literally like you have to sign forms. Things have to be signed out. There's codes for everything. So when you order it, I remember when I was in the Air Force, I worked on jets. I'd have to come into the parts area. I had to fill out these forms, and they would have to look it up on the computer.
You gotta come correct.
And they would know where it's at. They would know exactly which warehouse it was. You would know that where it could be, where I can go pick it up if I wanted to, or we had it in-house, right? So all the way down from not just engine parts, right, but all the way to like even boots that we had extra, Gore-Tex jackets that we had extra of, right? All of that was in there. Matter of fact, I even saw like numbers in there that was for beer. So military has it all. Like seriously, like so they were so in inventory that everything was accounted for. There was no non-accountability. Even the way I put my toolbox back, they would come inspect my toolbox before I checked it back in, make sure every little part was in there, because in aircraft, if a piece was missing, they would stop that aircraft from going up in the air, and we'd take it apart till we found the piece. Seriously, every panel that we wrote open, we did everything. Even the way we worked on the aircraft, everything had to be signed off. So I think that we don't need to get that critical in automotive, but if we got a little bit more,
but
think about that.
How critical communication is.
Right.
That is exactly what kept missions being accomplished. Right? If the part wasn't there, it was communicated with clearly, and for safety reasons of those that are involved inside of a piece of machinery, and for the mission for you to be readily available on your mission was the most important part of your unit's availability, right? That was the most important part. And having clear communication with the parts department or your PLL, right? Which is definitely what I enjoyed having, is being the guy that came saying, hey, I got your part. You're going to complete the mission today. You're going to go home on time, right? You're not going to be held liable for a piece of machinery that is deadlined, which in our world meant it can't go anywhere. It's not allowed to go anywhere until this one thing is fixed. And who has to chase it down? The parts guy. Who is everybody waiting on? The parts department. And so that's exactly what has to be communicated with. But the value that we put on each other has to be communicated with. And then we need to continuously keep that communication seamless between all those departments so that we can get our mission accomplished, which ultimately is taking care of our clients, making sure that our people are enjoying where it is that they are, right? And that they feel as though they have the resources to do what they are commissioned to do.
For you.
Excited.
It's truth, though. I mean, if we all do that, it's right. So, folks, be looking for where Owen Moon's going to be, because he's going to be speaking at a lot of places. If you need him, you better sign up now, because he's going to be busy the rest of this year. But that's important. It's also, I know why he's super busy. Golf season's over. So it's like no more golfing. So he has all the time in the world.
Hey, I golfed last night. It was 75 degrees here in South Dakota. So
ooh, that's a beautiful day. Heck yeah, man.
Look at that.
The end of October, I'll take it. So
yeah, dude. Well, that's all good. Everything is great. So check it out. Kaylee, we appreciate you. What's the best way that anyone can reach out to you to learn a little bit more about PartsEdge?
I'd say the best way, it looks like my screen's frozen, so hopefully it's not frozen for you guys.
We can hear you.
But we can hear you. You can hear me. The best way is LinkedIn, or just go to our website, partsedge.com. Just reach out if you have any questions.
All right. So reach out. Telling you, if you go to LinkedIn, look her up. It's just like you see her name down there, Kaylee, last name Felio. Check it out. Go reach out to her. The webpage is going up right now. You guys see it, partsedge.com. Reach out to them. Folks, if you guys need some help with that online service marketing, you better reach out to Fix Op Digital. Those are my homies. Plus, they're the best in the world, man. I'm telling you.
The best.
They're the best. I'm telling you, on the planet. Let's go. Reach out to them. They're amazing. But, folks, we appreciate you both for being here. Kaylee, thank you for being an honorary guest on our show. We always love having people that are just phenomenal out there, and you're a true solutionary. But before we get out of here, we always do something with everyone. And just like your shirt says.
Rocking the message.
And my shirt says right there. Is there anything else you want to say before we get out of here, Owen?
No, just, Kaylee, so glad to finally get a chance to spend some time with you. Obviously, we've, seen each other at some different conferences. We talk, every once in a while, but I was really looking forward to this hour because I love to dig into an area where I'm not as fluent on, and parts is definitely something that I could get a little bit deeper in, and our company is definitely under the hood trying to figure out how to help dealerships. So I might be reaching out. This has spurred some ideas, and super excited for maybe collaborating a little bit. So
I want to be involved in that because I'm excited, because I actually have some ideas too. This show really did inspire me, seriously, because there's not enough talk about this. Let's talk about this. Let's get this out there. Kaylee, let's make your face the big thing about it all. And we're going to go out there and make this business understand how important parts is. It's going to be the number one part of no more car sales. Who cares about service? Let's talk about parts, baby. Let's go, right?
They're all valued, Fred. That's what we're
trying. Parts is, my friend. I'm gonna be the parts hero. I want to be that. Let's go after it. Let's bring it to the forefront, and we're gonna make it happen. But it takes one person at a time, one dealership at a time, one event at a time, and we're gonna make it happen. But
one F-bomb at a time.
That's right.
Okay, we got to go ahead and get these dropped, because we have a lot of fixed ops to do all over the place. All of you that have jumped in and had fun with us today, please tag a car guy, tag a car gal. If you felt some value inside of this incredible show today, get them in here so that they can get some of this. But most importantly, blow up our incredible guest, Kaylee. Let her know how much you're thankful that she had the chance to pour in just some of her wisdom today. And we can't wait. Make sure that you tune into her show. Listen to more of the stuff that she's brewing with. She's got some of the best people in the business jumping up on a microphone with her. You need to get some of that. And we are so honored to once again have her in the microphone with us and representing the message, which is Forgive, Focus, Fly, because we want to keep growing. And Owen is leading the way with that and getting somebody in here that can help make him sharper in an area that he's wanting to grow in as well. So because the biggest room in the world is the room for improvement, Let's drop some F-bombs so that we can keep growing. Hands on the shoulders. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Forgive. Focus. Fly.
And keep growing. She's on the delay.
She's coming. She's
That's on the delay. Here she goes.
She's showing us how to do it.
That's right.
There we go. We did it.
We love it. We appreciate you all so much for both being on the show. Owen, we'll see you on the next Fix Ops Friday as always, my friends.
Missed you, Brad. We missed you, bro.
We did. You missed a great one. The A-team again. And that's Brad just saying because you're Brad B team. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, we'll see you guys later. Next time, Fix Ops Friday. We'll see you guys in a couple weeks. In the meanwhile, next week we'll be looking for the flashback because I'm gonna tell you it's gonna be a good one. Be checking it out. I'll be promoting it starting on Monday. So check it out, my friends. Let's go.
That's right. So
thanks, guys. Thanks, Kaylee.
And Car Gals, thank you so much for tuning in with us today. Thank you, Owen, for helping us out. And we are so thankful for our incredible guest, the one,
the only, Kaylee Felio.
Yeah, see y'all later. Represent. Big Stops Digital.
In the digital house. Let's go. Get you guys, man.
Peace.